Hello. Tonight we're going to be talking about psychic protection in this masterclass. This is something that is near and dear to my heart, and a lot of people don't know what it is. Wouldn't you like to know what it is and how to actually protect yourself from energies that may want to take yours? I know it sounds like it's a really heavy subject, and it can be, because it's something that's very, very important. And so what we'll start with is a little bit of history behind why we would want psychic protection. So what happens is that at the beginning of time, there were, you can call them demons, you can call them negative energies, you can call them, like there's so many different names for these, as I like to term them, entities. Now, they can be, you know, um, like demon form, spiritual, that are out to get your energy and use it for their own purposes. There are also people who unknowingly or knowingly may want to suck your energies. Have you ever walked into a room and then, or you're talking to someone one on one, and you kind of feel like you're drained after? That's because they may knowingly or unknowingly, usually unknowingly, are taking your energy. And they can do it in several different ways. Now, before we get into that, the history behind it, if you look at any religion, then you'll notice that a lot of times you'll see that they refer to negative entities in some way, shape, or form. I'm most familiar with Christianity because I grew up Catholic. And so we had the heaven and the hell, and you will read in the Bible about demons, fallen angels, all of those kinds of things. So these kinds of entities have been around for many, many, many millennia. So it's not something that is just a recent thing. It's something that's been around a very, very long time. So people have been actually, you know, um, battling these energies. The energies have been battling each other, the yin, the yang, the good, the bad. In Christianity, we talk about heaven and hell. So these type of entities have been around for a long, long time. Now, there are some spiritual groups of people who have decided that they don't want to even think about or talk about or even entertain the thought of there being any type of malevolent or evil spirits out there, or even people. They would rather pretend that they don't exist. Now, it's like pretending that robbers don't exist, or murderers don't exist, or any of those kinds of things. And we know that they do. Now, reading about them every day may actually be detrimental to your spirit. However, ignoring that they exist doesn't mean that will keep you safe. I'm not saying to go out and seek negative energies or look for rapists or any of that kind of thing, not at all. What I'm saying is that when we're aware, we can make sure we're protected. It's so important. Our energy, our soul, our own life depends on it. And especially those of us who consider ourselves light workers. And a light worker to me is someone who is wanting to help people in some way, shape, or form. They do not necessarily have to belong to a religion. They just have to be, in my definition, someone who actually goes ahead and wants to help other people in some way, shape, or form, whether it be through energy work or maybe readings or, any of those kinds of things. However, it's not limited to just that. A light worker is someone who wants to help. That's the simple definition that I like to use. The other definition that we were talking about are entities. And entities in my books are actual spirits that want to hurt or harm people in some way, shape, or form. Now, these types of entities are spirits. We can have people that actually wish harm upon others. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. We're talking about the people who hex others. You've seen the little dolls where they put the pins in them, voodoo dolls. You've seen people talk about any type of spell casting, negative spell casting, I will be very clear. So you're looking at all kinds of different ways to harm others. So looking at the other side of it, when we talk about protection, it's like having insurance on your car. You don't expect that you're going to get into an accident, do you? I know I don't. However, I have insurance just in case there is an accident. The same thing with an umbrella. You take the umbrella outside with you when you know it's going to rain. Or like me, I have an umbrella in my car. So if it starts to rain when I'm out and about and I didn't expect it, I still have the umbrella. It doesn't mean, that I'm scared or that I'm afraid that it's going to rain or something like that. It just means I don't want to get wet. Same thing with psychic protection, except it's a little more dire, I guess you could say, in that we need to have our energies, our light, our soul, even our physical being safe. So the easiest way to do that is to practice protection every day. Every single day. You don't miss a day, you just continue doing it daily. So then you're making sure that if it does rain, I'll just put it that way, then you know that you're protected. And it's not something you will have to think about all the time or worry about at all. So what you're doing is you're making sure that these negative energies cannot penetrate. Now, another way that these energies can actually get into either your physical body or your energetic body, your mental body, your emotional body is through your aura. Your aura is connected to your chakras, and it surrounds your whole body like an egg. And it actually is impenetrable from the outside. And what this means is that the energies cannot get in unless we break our auric egg from the inside. And so how we do that is we actually have negative thoughts that are repetitive. It's not just one negative thought that'll crack the auric egg. It's a repetitive one. When you keep thinking about work and you are thinking about how bad it is, or you're thinking about a coworker or talking about a coworker with another coworker and complaining about how terrible they are, or you might even be complaining about work itself to another coworker or to your spouse. And by the continuous negativity, that's how we crack the auric egg from the inside. There are ways to heal it. And I actually do know of a meditation that'll do that. And what it does is it coats the auric egg and helps to heal it. So that is something that's very helpful. However, that's the way that negative energies can get in, one of them. Another way is like we talked about, if you're thinking negative thoughts all the time, and I'm not talking about stray thoughts here or there, we all have those. I'm talking about repetitive negative thoughts about self, especially, and that gives the negative energies or entities the ability to latch onto those thoughts and help magnify them. So they magnify the thoughts so that they're bigger than they seem and can lead you in the wrong direction. And these negative energies and entities can actually work through others. And this is where we have to be discerning. I'm not talking about looking everywhere for negative energies so that you can, block yourself from them. It's about awareness so that when they do come in front of you, you recognize it. I don't want you to go around looking under rocks and, looking at other people. Are you negative? Are you a negative entity? Do you have one attached to you? And yes, they can get attached to you through these negative thoughts, thought patterns, things like this. And there is a small possibility that when you are ill, or big possibility actually, when you're ill or sick, they like to come in because you're vulnerable at that moment. And so there's a lot of ways that you need to be able to protect yourself from these negative energies or entities. They do like certain places because people are vulnerable. Hospitals, doctors' offices, they like to be where people are upset or sad. A lot of times that's where bars are in that category. So there's many different places where these negative energies or entities can be present, waiting for your vulnerable moments. So there's many different ways that they can actually get in, and it's up to us to make sure that we're protected. And it's about not only protecting ourselves, and it's about knowledge of how to do that. So there's many different ways that you can do it. And it's very, very helpful to know what are the different ways. Before we get into that, we sometimes need to be able to understand that there are also beings out there who want to help us. So we're looking at like angels and archangels, ascended masters. There are beings of love and light and loving intent that have our best interest at heart that we can actually call upon. So we look at the flip side of it. So not only are there negative energies and entities, we also have positive ones. And so, when you look at where you're going to, who you're going to ask. So there are several angels that I like to call upon, especially Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is my favorite because he epitomizes protection. He's got the sword and the shield, and he wears, the vest that's the plate vest that he epitomizes protection, and he will protect you if you call upon him and ask him to be protective. Whenever I'm doing readings, I always call upon Archangel Michael to make sure that I'm protected in my space, and that he will then bounce out any energies or negative beings that are there to cause any harm for myself or for my clients. So I'm always calling upon him for protection. I also call upon him to protect my vehicle when I'm driving, if I'm taking any other transportation. He's always present with me no matter where I go. So I'm constantly calling upon him for that. So he is the archangel of protection. There are other things you can do as well. You can use protective crystals. And one of the main protective crystals is black tourmaline. And so it will absorb negative energies and that kind of thing. So that is one level of protection that you can have. There are protective incense. So you can light them and they have certain properties to them that help with protection. There are ways to clear spaces as well. And so before you put protection on, clearing is a good idea. Some people like to use sage or Palo Santo to clear the space. Now, the trick is when you're clearing a space, you actually must start at a particular place in the house, which is usually at the front door. And then, I mean, I'm just going to give you a very quick gloss over. If you want more information, you can contact me, or even on the internet, there's a whole bunch of things talking about how to clear a space. Now, what people don't realize when they're clearing the space is that if they're using sage or Palo Santo, is to make sure that all of the drawers and cupboards are all open. And also that there is a couple of windows open as well so that the energies can exit. And the reason that you would have all of your cupboards and closets and drawers and everything open is so that the spirits cannot hide inside there, waiting until you're done and then come back out. This way you're making sure you're clearing them completely, 100%. And this can be done, a couple of times out of the month, or at least monthly. So think of it as a moon cycle thing that you can do, which will keep you on track because the moon comes every month, the full moon. So that's a way to clear a space. You can clear a space using sound. So you can use frequencies like the solfeggio frequencies, which will also clear you as well as the space. You can use bowls, like singing bowls, to do that as well. I've got a pair of tingsas here that I like to use because they produce a beautiful sound to them. That's a way to clear the space, and you can also clear yourself and others with the tingsas or some sort of sound. I also use a bell. It's one of my favorite things to use. And what I do is I actually tap the bell and then go around the lip with a specific type of, it's not really a mallet. However, what it does is it produces a sound on a continuous basis instead of just it being, the sound of you hitting it. So that's another way to clear a space. You can use white light to clear a space. So if you ask for the white light of God, the Most High of the universe, to come and clear the space as well. I've had Archangel Michael clear the space. Actually, he's one of my favorites to use for that because he can even take away malevolent spirits that may not have my best interest at heart. So he can take them away as well. And so once you've cleared the space, that's when we look at how do we protect them. You can use a protective grid using crystals. Allison from the Mystic Tree came up with, or she has learned about, using selenite and black tourmaline, as well as angelica root. And they all have protective properties, and then you put them in the four corners of the house with the selenite tower at the highest point in the house. And what that does is it provides a protective grid that continuously clears itself, because selenite also has clearing properties for any other crystals. So that can help you there. As well as, there's so many different ways you can use for protection. When I do house clearings, I actually have a protection system that I use Archangel Michael and Metatron to help me to protect the space on a permanent basis. And if you would like to have a house clearing, please contact me and I can help you do that either remotely or in person. So that's another way that you can keep yourself and your home safe. And it's important to do that because, you know, people are inside your home, your pets are inside your home. So, you know, especially at nighttime when you're sleeping and vulnerable, it's good to be protected. And so that's what we look for. Now, I'm going to teach you a particular way to protect yourself on a daily basis. I use this twice a day in order to keep myself protected, and it's called the blue bubble. And the blue bubble works extremely well, and it's generally works for 12 hours at a time. You can blue bubble yourself. You can blue bubble your pets. You can blue bubble your vehicle. So as you're driving, you're kept safe. Pretty well, you can blue bubble almost anything except other people, unless they are your own children and they are not able to bubble themselves. That's the only exception. You cannot ever bubble another. You can teach them how, however, you cannot bubble them yourself because they have free will. And if they are able to learn how to bubble, then they can do it themselves. Even children who are old enough to understand, you know, 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old, around there, depending on the child, teach them how to do it themselves so they can be responsible for their own protection. That way, even when they're at school and they go, oh yeah, I got to remember to do my blue bubble, then they will be responsible to do it themselves. The other thing with the blue bubble is that you can bubble yourself as many times as you want, especially in stressful situations. It's a good idea to be able to bubble yourself because that way you're making sure that those energies and entities cannot penetrate you. The beauty of the blue bubble is that it actually helps to keep you calm. It has this really great quality to it where it calms things down. And you may have other different experiences with it as you do the blue bubble. And, you know, it's your experience. Now, when you actually bubble yourself, what I'd like you to notice is what we call metakinesthetic. Metakinesthetic is when you can actually feel a physical reaction to something energetic. And we've all had those moments where we feel goosebumps or you feel hot or cold, or, you know, there are many different things like tingling and, you know, those are some of the ways that we can feel things in our body that are energy rich or are produced by energy. And the reason we want to look for this is so we can recognize the times when either the blue bubble is fading or if we forgot to blue bubble ourselves. Again, I do it twice a day because it lasts approximately 12 hours. I sometimes bubble more often, especially if I'm going into a high risk area, or maybe even when there are a lot of people. You can even, you know, blue bubble yourself again if you're at a family reunion and it tends to be really tough for everybody. So you can make sure, or if you are an empath and you tend to feel a lot of emotions and stuff like this, the blue bubble can help with that too. I think that's really cool. It's, you know, something that I really enjoy about it. So now I'm going to teach you how to do it. So first listen to the instructions and then I will do it with you. Okay. So the instructions are that above your head, right up here, imagine a blue bubble, the color of royal blue, which is Archangel Michael color. coincidentally. And it's about the size of a beach ball right above your head. And so when you imagine it, and imagining means that you either can see it, feel it, hear it, or know that it's there. Imagination does not require you to see it only. If you do see it, great. If you don't, that's okay too, as long as you understand that it's there. So when you imagine that there's a blue bubble above your head, then what you do from there is you breathe in to choose it. So it's like this. And you imagine yourself choosing the blue bubble. And when you breathe out, you use it. So it's, and you imagine the blue bubble going around your whole body and snapping together under your feet. So this is what it looks like all together. So it's above my head, I'm imagining it, and I go, and it snaps around my body. And for me, what I feel inside myself is that in my solar plexus, which is my stomach area, I feel like it calms and relaxes. And I also feel like my feet are more solid on the ground. So that's how it feels for me. However, for you, it could be a little different. And that's okay. We are each different people. And as long as you remember and recognize what it feels like to you, that's what's important. So we're going to do it one more time. So imagine the blue bubble above your head. You're going to breathe in and breathe out. And there you go. That's how you do a blue bubble. It works so well. You can also put the white light over top of the blue bubble. Those kinds of things are okay. And this will help to keep you protected. It's a very good, strong protection. And again, if you need to renew it, you can renew it at any time, anywhere. And it will help keep you safe. So that's one of my favorites. Other things that I do is I like to use some chanting. So the particular type of chant that I do is in Hebrew, and there are different phrases that I use that are specific and they have a specific purpose. I'm not going to go into each and every one of the chants that I do. However, they are extremely protective. You can contact me and I will go through all of the chants, what they mean, and how they work. They are extremely protective and also healing. So not only do they protect, there are different healing properties for them. And so, you can contact me and I will give you the sheets, complimentary, because I want you to be protective and safe and healed. And I will be doing another video in which I will actually talk about them and chant them so that you can hear what they sound like, know what they feel like, and see what they look like. So that way you can have that at your disposal. I've been using them for about maybe 2 years, 3 years now. And I will tell you, they have helped a lot, especially during this time when we have COVID and a lot of fear out there. And these types of protections, especially the blue bubble, the chanting, really help to keep you safe and keep the energies at bay. And that's what the important thing is that whether you believe them or not, I mean, if it was me, I would be making sure that I'm doing them anyways, just to be on the safe side. Just like we get insurance to be on the safe side. Again, not because we believe that we're going to get into an accident. However, it's to make sure that if we did, that it would protect us. In this case, we're doing the insurance so that it doesn't happen or is less likely to. Now, one of the things that I absolutely do every single night is I bubble my house, because when you're sleeping, you're vulnerable. If you're the person who's the most spiritual or is the light worker in your house, if you only blue bubble yourself or your room, then you're actually making the other people and your pets in the house as targets. Because if they can't get you, they're going to look for other people. I know this all sounds really dire and tough. However, it's reality. We live in a duality, which means that there is light and there is dark, no matter which way you look at it. So it's better to be in the know and take care of things rather than being blind and ignorant and allowing, things to happen that could have been prevented. So I blue bubble my house to make sure that myself and anyone else living here, especially my pets, are safe at night. It lasts 12 hours. There you go. So, things are covered. And then I have my morning ritual where I practice magnified healing, which is a great healing practice because it actually clears karma and it also provides protection as well. And it's healing. So it's a good thing. So I do that, and I make sure to do my blue bubble every single day, twice a day, making sure that I am safe and protected. Now, just to be sure, just do it. And you'll be glad you did, because now you'll be protected and able to help others, especially at this time when there is so much negativity out there with other people. And this way you can make sure that you're safe and protected so that you're here to serve and help in any way you can. So I thank you for being here. And if you have any questions or you want to know more about the chant and want me to send you some information, please let me know at www.barbaracowa.com. Thank you.